Hey history buffs, welcome back to the channel, where we dive deep into the most intriguing stories from our past. Today, we're talking about some of the most daring, dangerous, and downright shocking assassination missions of the ancient world. These are the moments when power, greed, and political intrigue met their bloody ends, all at the hands of assassins. From Julius Caesar's shocking betrayal to covert missions that changed the course of history, you won't want to miss a second of this. So, grab your scrolls, or, your coffee, and let's explore the top 5 assassination missions of the ancient world. The assassination of Julius Caesar, 44 BCE. Our journey into the dark world of ancient assassinations has to begin with one of the most famous murders in history, Julius Caesar. Julius Caesar was at the height of his power in 44 BCE, and Rome was in his grasp. He had declared himself dictator for life. And this raised alarm bells among many of the Roman Senate, who feared that the Republic was on the verge of becoming a monarchy under Caesar's rule. Among those worried were prominent senators like Gaius Cassius Longinus and Marcus Junius Brutus. Yes, the same Brutus who had once been close to Caesar. The assassination plot was simple but brutal. On March 15th, also known as the Ides of March, Caesar was called to the Senate. Unbeknownst to him, his trusted friends and allies had already sharpened their blades. As Caesar entered the Senate chamber, he was surrounded by the conspirators and attacked. He reportedly received 23 stab wounds, and among the attackers was Brutus himself. The phrase, et tu, Brute, you too, Brutus, has since become synonymous with the ultimate betrayal. Though the line is attributed to Shakespeare's play, and not historical fact, it represents the shock Caesar felt as he realized his own close friend had turned on him. But the murder of Caesar didn't have the effect the conspirators had hoped for. Instead of restoring the Roman Republic, his death plunged Rome into chaos and led to the rise of the Roman Empire under Augustus, Caesar's adopted heir. The death of King Philip II of Macedon, 336 BCE. If we hop over to ancient Macedonia, another assassination plot was brewing, this time against King Philip II, the father of the famous Alexander the Great. Philip II had made many enemies during his reign, both within and outside his kingdom. His expansionist policies and military prowess had unified much of Greece under his control. However, even with all his power, Philip was not immune to betrayal. The year was 336 BCE, and Philip was about to celebrate his daughter Cleopatra's wedding at Igi. During the grand festivities, surrounded by his friends and bodyguards, Philip stepped into the theater for the celebration. But as he entered, one of his own bodyguards, Pausanias, suddenly attacked and fatally stabbed him. What makes this assassination so intriguing is the mystery behind it. Was Pausanias acting alone out of personal grievances, or was there a larger conspiracy at play? Some historians speculate that there were deeper political motives, with possible involvement from Olympias, Philip's wife, or even his son, Alexander. Olympias, in particular, had much to gain from Philip's death, especially in securing Alexander's path to the throne. Regardless of who was behind it, Philip's assassination cleared the way for Alexander the Great to ascend to power and change the course of history forever. The assassination of Tiberius Gracchus, 133 BCE. Next, we turn to ancient Rome again, but this time to the Republic's turbulent political scene. Tiberius Gracchus, a Roman populist and tribune, pushed for agrarian reforms that aimed to redistribute land to the poor. His revolutionary policies earned him widespread support among the lower classes, but created bitter enemies among the Roman elite and Senate. In 133 BCE, tensions reached their peak when Tiberius sought re-election as tribune, a move that was unprecedented and deeply feared by the Senate. His enemies believed he was seeking absolute power and posed a threat to the existing order. In response, a group of senators, led by Scipio Nasica, took matters into their own hands. The assassination of Tiberius Gracchus was a public and brutal affair. During an assembly on the Capitoline Hill, Tiberius was attacked by a mob of senators and their supporters, armed with clubs, sticks, and even pieces of furniture. He was beaten to death, along with hundreds of his followers. This was no stealthy assassination in the shadows. It was a violent political statement meant to silence reform. Ironically, Tiberius's death did not quell the demand for reform. Instead, it marked the beginning of a series of political upheavals in Rome that would eventually lead to the fall of the Republic. The assassination of King Pyrrhus of Epirus, 272 BCE. Our next assassination takes us to ancient Greece, where King Pyrrhus of Epirus met his end in one of the most unexpected ways imaginable. Pyrrhus was a formidable military leader, most famously known for his campaigns against Rome. He even gave us the term Pyrrhic victory, meaning a win that comes at such a devastating cost that it's almost like losing. After a series of brutal battles, Pyrrhus turned his attention to Sicily and later back to Greece, where he became embroiled in a war with Sparta. In 272 BCE, while fighting in the city of Argos, Pyrrhus entered the city in the chaos of battle. During the fighting, a rooftop observer, a woman according to ancient sources, dropped a heavy roof tile onto Pyrrhus's head, stunning him. As he fell, one of his enemies quickly decapitated him. The death of Pyrrhus was sudden and unexpected, especially for someone of his military stature. It was not the grand, heroic death you might expect for a legendary warrior king, but a humbling reminder of how fragile even the most powerful leaders could be in the ancient world. The assassination of Cleopatras Siblings, 47 to 41 BCE. Last but not least, we delve into one of the most famous royal families of the ancient world, the Ptolemies of Egypt. Cleopatra may be the most well-known figure from this dynasty, but her rise to power was stained with the blood of her own family members. Cleopatra's siblings, Ptolemy III, Ptolemy XIII, and Arsinoe IV were all victims of political assassinations as Cleopatra secured her position as the sole ruler of Egypt. Let's start with Ptolemy III. Ptolemy III and Cleopatra were initially co-rulers, but a power struggle between them soon broke out. This conflict escalated into a civil war, during which Cleopatra sought help from Julius Caesar. The two joined forces, and after a decisive battle on the Nile in 47 BCE, Ptolemy III drowned while fleeing the battlefield, cementing Cleopatra's control over Egypt. Afterward, Cleopatra made her younger brother, Ptolemy XIII, her new co-ruler. However, Ptolemy XIII was little more than a pawn in Cleopatra's political game. When Cleopatra became romantically involved with Mark Antony and solidified her power, Ptolemy XIII conveniently died under mysterious circumstances, likely poisoned by Cleopatra herself. Then there was Arsinoe the Safford, Cleopatra's younger sister, who had also opposed her rule. After being captured during the civil war, Arsinoe was exiled to the Temple of Artemis in Ephesus. But even in exile, Arsinoe remained a threat to Cleopatra. In 41 BCE, under orders from Mark Antony, Arsinoe was executed on the temple steps, an act that was shocking due to its sacrilegious nature. Cleopatra's path to power was not just about charm and alliances. It was built on calculated moves, including the elimination of her own family members. And there you have it, the top 5 assassination missions of the ancient world. These were no ordinary murders. They were calculated, politically motivated acts that altered the course of history. From the betrayal of Julius Caesar to Cleopatra's ruthless rise to power, each of these stories shows the lengths people were willing to go to secure power, or to take it away from others. If you enjoyed this dive into the darker side of ancient history, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and click that notification bell so you don't miss any of our future episodes. Which assassination shocked you the most? Let us know in the comments below. Until next time, keep questioning the past. It's full of surprises.